And then yesterday I came out to her again as a trans man, and she took it well because, you know, she's been improving on herself and stuff, and she's been more supportive. So she was just like, I was sad to lose my daughter, but, you know, I gained a son. But with my dad, it was a different story. I'm gonna keep it pretty short because I don't know, I don't have a lot of time. But basically, I had told my cousin that I had a girlfriend or whatever, and she snitched. She told her dad, which was my uncle. And you know, African people like to talk. So my uncle tells my dad sits me down, and he's like, do you like girls? And I mean, I tried to be honest with him. He was just like, no, you don't. And after that, like, I tried to hide it from him, but he found out, and I ended up like leaving his house, not ever talking to him again, because he was like violently homophobic. And I feel like even though it happened so long ago, I'm just now coming to terms with like losing that part of my family because of who I am. You know, I lost that connection to my culture, and I feel like even now I have to choose between one over the other, you know? But that's my story.
How easy was coming out for you? And if you're comfortable, can you share your experience?
Coming out was fairly easy for me, but I would say my mom is very young, and you know she has had her own experiences in her life to where we are very open with each other to the point where like we can almost like share anything. It's kind of like a that's my that's my mom first, but we still like have a friendship outside of that. So when I came out, I think I was with all of my sisters and my mom at the same time. So I told everybody at the same time, but it was just like we were drinking, so it was just like open conversation at that time. And I was like, yeah, I like girls. So, and from there, I bring them around. They've been around my family. My grandma knows, like all of my family knows. It's very public on social media. Like it's not a secret anymore for me at all. Like if you know me, you know I like what I like. So.
Whew. Well, for me, coming out was very, very, I would say, easy and then difficult. I've been out since, well, officially been out since the 10th grade in high school. My dad found out first. I was in like the 8th grade, maybe going to the 9th grade, one of those. I think I had just moved to Florida. And he found out, and he was on the supportive end. He was just like, he don't agree with it, but whatever I choose, whatever my heart desire, as long as I'm okay, he's okay. On the other hand, with my mama, woo, whole different ball game. Okay, my mom was very in the church back then. She was very like, da 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 da. But mind you, I had a gay sister. Well, I don't want to say gay, a lesbian sister. So my sister was lesbian, but my mom was okay with it. I mean, what can you do about it? But I don't think that my mom wanted she didn't want a gay son. Was from my understanding. So she tried to take to the pastor to talk to the pastor about, you know, me being gay or whatever, and trying to sit me down in the church. You know, no offense to any of my Christian friends, but at that point in my life, I didn't care about being sat down in the church because I was doing something for me, not for nobody else. So at that point, I just stopped going to church altogether. And she has finally came around with me being out. Me being out and gay. Like I said, I'm very public. It's very public now, so you can't miss it. Like I said, majority of my family knows, my sisters, my brothers. One person who don't know is my grandma, and she is a pastor. So I don't know how she don't know because it's very much in her face, but she still don't know. So we're going to see. But like I said, it's been very, neutral for me. Just depends on the sides of it. And, you know, if I have any advice I would give is to make sure you come out for you. Don't do it for nobody else. Make sure that you're comfortable with it, that you have the best feeling possible. That way it's easier for you to come out when you do.
I didn't come out. I was outed. When I still identified as a lesbian, I liked this girl in like 5th grade, and I wrote like a letter to her or something, and she rejected me. It was cool and all because we were friends and whatever, but I brought the letter home. My mom was looking through my stuff, and then she comes and like, you know, asked me to talk and stuff, and I just denied. Like, I told her I just meant it in a like really friendly way, you know, like, but I had to hide more after that because she always had like a feeling about me, but once like it was obvious, she started treating me a different kind of way, and I didn't really like that. It was like every time it would come up, like relationships or something, she would always want me to be with a boy or something, and it would just make me really uncomfortable. And it wasn't until like later on in life that she came around to it. And then yesterday I came out to her again as a trans man, and she took it well because, you know, she's been improving on herself and stuff, and she's been more supportive. So she was just like, I was sad to lose my daughter, but you know, I gained a son. But with my dad, it was a different story. I'm gonna keep it pretty short because I don't know, I don't have a lot of time. But basically, I had told my cousin that I had a girlfriend or whatever, and she snitched. She told her dad, which was my uncle. And you know, African people like to talk. So my uncle tells my dad sits me down, and he's like, do you like girls? And I mean, I tried to be honest with him. He was just like, no, you don't. And after that, like, I tried to hide it from him, but he found out, and I ended up like leaving his house, not ever talking to him again because he was like violently homophobic. And I feel like even though it happened so long ago, I'm just now coming to terms with like losing that part of my family because of who I am, you know? I lost that connection to my culture, and I feel like even now I have to choose between one over the other, you know? But that's my story.
What is your name and what do you identify as?
My name is Indigo, and I'm a trans man. My pronouns are he, him.
What aspects of your identity, journey, or experiences would you like others to be more aware of or understand better? How can individuals be more supportive and inclusive in acknowledging and respecting your identity as a transgender man?
Dang, that's a big question. The thing that comes to mind is like, with all this new legislation coming out, people seem to have the impression that transitioning is like this easy thing that you could just like go up to a doctor's office and, you know, they'll give you hormone replacing therapy and stuff like that. But it's like a very long process, and I don't know, it like nullifies the arguments that they're making that it's like, oh, too easy to access, so much regret and stuff like that. Like, no, it's really, really, really hard to be yourself, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is. And I don't know, if more people knew that and acknowledged how hard that it is just to be yourself, you know, they wouldn't be saying the things that they do about trans people. That's all I can really say.
First question. There are many misconceptions about the LGBTQIA plus community. What's the common myth or stereotype that you often encounter, and how would you like to debunk or challenge it based on your own experience?
So one misconception that I run into personally is people think I am a stud, and I am not. I am definitely bisexual, so I like girls and boys, and I don't think I dress in a more masculine way either. I just know how to dress, so yeah.
I would say a misconception for me is that people think that I'm a mean girl. I have been told a lot that I'm a mean girl. You know, people like me that's in our community, we are mean girls. We don't seem approachable. And I'm here to tell you that we are very much approachable. It's just in the manner or respect that you come. Because like I said, some days we might be in a mood where it's like, we don't want to talk to anybody. But it still doesn't mean that you can approach us. So I feel like I've been told by my friends and people outside of my friend groups that, you know, I'm a mean girl, but that's not the case. So yeah.
For me, it's that like queerness is a white concept, like it's a Western concept. My dad is African, he comes from Togo, so I'm like first generation American. And when he found out like that I like girls and stuff, when I still identified as a lesbian, that was what he told me. And I feel like I understand like colonialism is why people think like that, especially in Africa and, you know, places like the Caribbean and stuff, but queerness was always here, and I think that we predated Christianity, so I feel like more people should understand that.
What is your name and what do you identify as?
Quez, and I'm gay.
For many individuals, faith is a significant aspect of their lives. How have you navigated the intersection of your LGBTQIA identity and your faith? And what messages or advice do you have for others who may be grappling with similar intersections?
I would say that, well, for one, I'm a Christian, but I am Church of God in Christ, which is a denomination of Christianity. And so far, I still go to church. I still read my Bible. I still pray, because I feel like that a Bible or a pastor don't determine my faith or my religion. I have supportive pastors. I've been to very supportive churches that support the LGBTQIA plus community, which are affirming churches. We have affirming churches around Huntsville, like Spirit of the Cross. We got Union Grove Primitive Baptist Church in Decatur, Alabama. Like I said, I've been to and experienced just many affirming churches, and I feel like that your faith or your overall sexuality should determine or deter you from your faith. I would say keep your faith, especially if you know, because at the end of the day, God has the final say. So that's how I live my life. I'm not, encouraging anyone else to live a life like that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many people judge, talk about, or only report to one person, which is God. And at the end of the day, He has the final say.
All right, so next question. Media plays a significant role in shaping perceptions. How do you feel about the current representation of LGBTQIA community in mainstream media, and what changes or improvements would you like to see in how your community is portrayed?
I start?
Yeah.
I feel like there's always boxes to fulfill. It's not like genuine representation most times. And I wish that, it was less, white centered and stuff like that. Like, I only know one black gay movie off the top of my head. So I feel like there's more to be desired when it comes to diversity in the queer community and in media.
That's a good question. I feel like that representation could be better, especially what Indigo said in our African American community. I feel like it could be more. I feel like it's starting to slowly become more accepting in our community because, you know, back then it was like, no, 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 no. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like more as time goes by, as more families begin to evolve, it starting to become more of an acceptance. I feel like that we as a community can do different things, such as, you know, making sure that we are putting our community in the best light as far as social media, making sure that we're being shown in a positive aspect rather than a negative aspect. And I feel like now, what are the solutions for us to be seen in a better light than to keep being seen in a negative light? And I just feel like that if we do that, I feel like more people get to understand, you know, what we do, what we're about, and, you know, how do we, you know, go about our lives.
For me, I think I completely disagree. I think it's definitely in our faces right now, but it's being thrown in our faces in a weird way. It's kind of being thrown out like a fetish or something that's very much not realistic, but they're throwing it out there. So I would agree that it's being accepted more, but it's still like I want it to be more genuine and more organically, like organic relationships that we're seeing on social media. Because right now it's just like, oh, we support the gays, so we're gonna show you this, but it's not really like organic, like it's not very consumer friendly, I think, to the gay community specifically.
You want to say something about that?
Who, me? No. I was, but I'm not. We're gonna be here in a whole debacle, okay? Because I just feel like it also, we have to sit and listen to other people's opinions, values, because everybody's mindset is different, especially when it comes to our community. And that's something we have to take heed of rather than like brushing it away. Because although I might not like what she says, I can also gain something from what she says. Although, like I said, it's just, I don't know. It's like we're in a weird, I want to say weird, but like a weird situation. And like, how do we go about fixing it?
What is your name and what do you identify as?
Hey, I'm Essie and I am bisexual.
Okay. Creating inclusive spaces is crucial for fostering acceptance. In your experience, what initiatives or practices have not been effective in building inclusive communities, and how can individuals contribute to making their own spaces more welcoming?
I would definitely say one of the only places I've actually ever felt excluded from is really the church. And I would definitely not classify as being very religious, but I'm a believer, but it's kind of not a place that I feel welcome, so it's not a place that I often attend. So I think with that, I think people just need to be more informed and try to be knowledgeable about the topic before kind of excluding people out, because I think if you're excluding different communities, that goes against the whole meaning, the whole thing behind church. So